Linda's father was a minister in this church, in the Reform movement. He was Pastor Holmstrom. And we were very good friends, him and I. He's passed away and is resting in the Lord. Linda's grandfather was also a minister in the Reform movement. His name was August Holmstrom. He was a martyr. He was taken by the Russians with the first elder. He was at that time in Estonia, and he was shot for his faith. And I did not get to meet him, and Linda didn't get to meet him either. He died in the 1940s. Many martyrs in the Reform. We have a booklet called Follow Their Faith, where you have a recap on the last letters and also notes that were exchanged between the martyrs during World War II and their family members. August Holmstrom does not appear there. There are many that don't appear in that book. But on her mom's side, someone in her family traced the lineage of Adventism all the way to Sister White's time. So we have some tangible evidence that when Sister White had her first vision in Maine, one of those, it was a group of girls, they're all just teenagers, praying together. One of those girls is somehow related to Linda. She's descendant from one of those there. So she, on her mom's side, okay? On her mom's side, it's a very long American tradition. On her dad's side, it's European. And I am delighted that when I asked her to marry me, she said yes. It took me a very long time to convince her. I was convinced, but she wasn't. But we are, I'm delighted that she's going to have this talk that she's titled Study to Show Thyself Approved. I want you to know she studied nutrition just like I did. To University of Davis, University of California, Davis, and got a bachelor's in nutrition. And I really enjoyed traveling with her around the world, hearing her speak. So I'm looking forward to your lecture today. Thank you so much for making the time to be here. For those who are joining us online, Sister Andrade, greetings in Tasmania. We're looking forward to the youth conference next year. Brother Aline told me about it. Hopefully we'll have a lot of young people from America that will come.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. Special greetings to Sister Andrade. I send you kisses from Sydney. We go way back when we were in Germany. We would often visit with the Andrades. In fact, it was Brother Andrade who sent me to Italy for the first conference to give a health lecture. I've never been translated so many times. I was spoken English, it was translated to Spanish, and then to Italian. So I had to wait my turn for it to come back. But again, thank you for that opportunity. Today's study is entitled, as Adele mentioned, Study to Show Thyself Approved. I do hope all of you have your Bibles because we're going to use them. So let's have some fun today. I want to first specify, before we get into the study, what a contradiction is. We live in a world of politicians, so contradictions happen all the time, right? But a contradiction explicitly stated is when two statements are made, if one is true, by definition, the other one has to be false, right? If I tell you I'm in London and I'm in Sydney, if one is true, I can't be in two places at the same time. If there's a conflict there. Do we get it? Right? Okay? So when people look at the Bible, many times they see these little discrepancies, they see these differences, and like, Bible has so many contradictions. How can you put your faith in the Word of God when there's so many gaps, when there's so many holes? So I want to go through a few of them today, and hopefully we'll see some of these verses in a new light. Yes. Yes. I tell my kids, you have to, whatever profession you choose, you need to go through life like a lawyer. You read the fine print and you understand what is it saying. Go read it slowly, see what no one else is seeing. Okay, so here we have all right. We're going to start under the category of animals. All right. Our first text is found in Leviticus 11, verse 6. First one who finds it, read it. Stand up and read it in our voice. Leviticus 11, verse 6.
And the hair, because he cheweth the cud, but divideth not the hoof, he is unclean unto you. That's not it?
No, that's it. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so the hair, because he cheweth the cud. All right. How many of you have seen a hair chew the cud?
Really?
Okay. This was new for me, as I have many deer that come to my house. And it's like I said, I was telling Arts this morning, I think that they sense that vegetarians live here, so they're friendly. It's neutral territory that they're coming to. And many times when I come down to the sunroom for my morning devotional, they'll be sitting there outside, and I watch. The cud comes up, and you'll see them start to chew it again. But rabbits most people don't see this. And please understand, Idell said I did study nutrition, and I did. That's true. But before I studied nutrition, my major was genetics, and so I was passionate and still am about biology. I took Bio 1A, Bio 1B, zoology, botany, microbiology, and more genetics than you ever want to know. In fact, that's what caused me to change my mind. Is I was working in the fruit fly lab, we were working with mutations. Then I asked my professor, what's next? So it's after fruit flies, and he's like, oh, if you get really good, then you go to cockroach lab. I changed major subject. And so anyway, but what I'm telling you is I never knew, with all of that background in biology, I never knew this. And what the secret is that I learned, and hopefully you learned today, is rabbits and care are hindgut fermenters. We have a diagram here, a beautiful diagram that Melissa chose. But, due to their small size, right, there's no room for 4 stomachs in that little creature. Okay? So what happens is that rabbits actually have 2 kinds of stool, right? As the one that you see, that we're very familiar with, if you've ever had rabbits, is you see the pellets, right? They also have one that's called the night stool. Is the rabbits go and they'll eat the grass, whatever, celery, lettuce. It goes through their digestive tract. It's eliminated during the night. It's a special little, like a green little product that comes out. They will re-ingest it. It goes twice through the.
They re-eat it.
They re-eat it. It's the first round. They re-eat it, and then it comes out as the pellet. So do they chew the cud? It's a different way. We have to expand our definition of the cud. Again, I had never heard of it. Please Google me. It's hindgut fermenters. It's very different, and I'm going to actually tell you what it means in Hebrew. The word for chewing in Hebrew is alah, A-L-A-H, which basically means like to move in all directions, to go up, ascend, climb, into, out of, depart, right? So to chew the cud means in Hebrew that which is brought forth again. So kind of recycling through, it passes through the digestive system twice. All right, again, it's a different idea of chewing the cud, but let's fit our definition to the evidence and not the opposite, right? So next, I want to talk about King Solomon's horses. I want somebody from your left side of the room to look for 1 Kings 4:6, and somebody from your right side of the room to look at 2 Chronicles 9:25. I'll say that again. This side, 1 Kings 4:26, and this side, 2 Chronicles 9:25. get our math right. First one finds it, but I want to hear first things first.
Solomon had 40,000 stalls of horses for his chariots. And 12,000 horses.
So tell me the number again. Two numbers in there. 40,000 and how many horsemen?
12,000.
12,000 horsemen. Okay, so Solomon does everything. We know he's a diva, right? Solomon does things in a grand scale. So just want to make sure we have those numbers correct. 40,000 stalls of horses and 12,000 horsemen. All right, I need somebody from this side of the room to read 2 Chronicles 9:25. This side. Can help them out. 2 Chronicles 9:25.
Verse 9. 5.
Okay, Solomon had 4,000 stalls for horses and chariots, and 12,000 horsemen, whom he bestowed.
That's good.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so I got from this side of the room 40,000. And what did you just say, Edith? How many?
I said 12,000.
12,000.
4,000 stalls for horses and chariots, and 12,000 horsemen.
Okay, so both verses are concurrent on 12,000 horsemen. Okay, lots of horsemen. The difference is the 4,000 versus 40,000. Now, was it a writing error? Is 1 0 missing? Is that what happened? Or should we look at these a little closer? Okay, so what I heard from this side, 40,000 stalls. Here we go, of horses for his chariots. Okay, so 40,000 stalls filled with horses. First verse. Second verse in Chronicles says 4,000 stalls for horses and chariots. Okay, are you with me on that? So 40,000 stalls for horses, just for horses. And on this side, we have 4,000 stalls for the horses and chariots together. Okay, remember what I just said. Solomon was a diva. Okay, he was very much into pomp and circumstance. I imagine that he had a lot of parades. He had a lot of foreign dignitaries who came to visit him. We know that Queen Sheba was there. We know he had a lot of things going. Who has 40,000 horses? All right, it's an extraordinary number of horses. I've actually been in the ruins of King Solomon's horse stalls. It's big. It's really, really big. But the difference is, I suspect that he had many, many stables. You can't accommodate 40,000 horses in one stable. He had a ton of stables, but then as a matter of organization, with that scale of farm that he had going on, is you get the horses, then they tie them with their chariots, right? What do you have, 8, 10, 12 horses per chariot? So they had the stalls all ready to go. They have 4,000 stalls for the horses and chariots, but 40,000 horses. Are you with me? Too quick. Okay, let me say it one more time. Okay, so the first verse in 1 Kings talks about the 40,000 stalls of horses.
1 Kings.
1 Kings 4:26.
Okay.
So stalls, 40,000 stalls just for horses. The second verse, the 2 Chronicles 9:25, it said Solomon had 4,000 stalls for horses and chariots. So this is where they come, they're getting ready for the parade, they're whatever. They've been taken from their 40,000 stalls, so however many horses they needed, they bring them down to the assembly stage, right? They connect them with their individual chariots, and then they're off to go. It's not a discrepancy. Read it carefully. So we have horses and we have horses and stalls. Are we good? Wasn't that fun?
Is it an addition?
It's an addition, right, it's another element, it doesn't mean that there's a discrepancy, it doesn't mean that there's a typo in the records. It just means that he had, really organized areas for everything. And so what occurred to the first person to write down didn't impress the second author, so they were impressed by two different things. Okay, under the next subcategory, we're gonna talk about insects. So I'm gonna ask this side of the room, I'll tell you your verse first, okay? Leviticus 11:21 and 23. Say that again, Leviticus 11:21 and 23. This side of the room, I'm gonna ask you to look up Proverbs 30:28. Proverbs 30:28. And again, the first one who finds it, let's read it. So from the right side of the room, I'm gonna ask you to go first.
Your right side or our right side?
Your right side. Leviticus 11:21 and 23.
Verse 11.
Ah.
21, 11 to 20.
21 and 23. Leviticus 11:21 and 23.
Yet these may ye eat of every flying, creeping thing that goes upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. Even, and verse 23, but all other flying, creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you.
Okay, so lest we were tempted to go out and eat a cricket or something, just know that they're forbidden. But anyway, how many feet did you say in verse 23?
Flying, creeping things which have 4 feet.
Okay, so this side of the room maintains 4 feet for insects, okay? This side of the room, can somebody read Proverbs 30:28?
Spider skillfully grasps with its hands, and it is in the king's palaces.
Okay, can you just go back and read the part about the spider, please?
Skillfully grasps its hands.
With its hands, okay? So, okay, we know the difference between spiders and insects. Number one, how many legs do insects have? 6, right, 6. How many legs do spiders have?
8.
8, okay, we know that. But yet, we said that first verse said, how many did it say?
That these may ye eat every flying, creeping thing that goeth upon all 4,
4.
which have legs above their feet to
Okay,
keep
but
withal.
they specify 4 feet. Okay,
Yeah.
so we said by definition, insect has 6, a spider has 8. All right, but did you see what the Greg read is take it hold with our hands? They're using the definition that, like us, insects have legs and arms, or legs and hands. Okay, so we see it just 6 legs. All right, we're looking at an author who lived in a different time, in a different place in the world, different culture, different norms. We can't impose our system of organization on them. Okay, so according to them, they know as the insects are pretty much the same as they've been then as now, still with 4
And then if it spins a web,
4 legs and 2
if
hands.
it spins a web with its legs, it looks like a hand. And it doesn't. It
Yeah.
looks like the leg works like a hand.
It does. They're multifunctional appendages, right? So anyway, I'm just saying nothing has changed. But in biblical perspective, it's 4 legs and either 2 or 4 hands. All right. Yes.
I got the New King James here, the margin said instead of spider, it says lizard.
A lizard.
Lives in king's palaces. I mean, we got geckos here that run around the wall, and they got hands.
Oh, true. Okay, 2 hold of hands.
I'm only looking at my Bible there.
Yeah,
The margin says
interesting.
instead of spider, it says lizard.
Lizard. That's quite and that's one of the reasons why I prefer King James. I'm not sure with the New King James the difference, but I know with the New International Version, there's over 6,000 changes that took place. A lizard is quite different than a spider. But anyway, what I'm just trying to say is we're looking at things differently. We're expanding our perspective here, all right? All right, let's look at the category of whales and fishes. All right, I'm gonna ask somebody I'm gonna ask Sister Elida, you can look up for me Jonah 1 verse 17. All right, and I'm gonna ask somebody on this side of the button if you can read Matthew 12:40. Matthew 12:40 and Sister Elida, Jonah 1:17.
It's 2 stomachs.
Whale has 2 stomachs. Okay. If you can read the verse for me, I appreciate that.
Now the Lord prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights.
Perfect, thank you. So it's emphasized, it's actually repeated twice, it is a fish, okay? Let's just kind of review basic biology here. What is the characteristics of a fish? Tell me about
Fish
how do
has
they breathe,
gills.
right? Okay, so they have the gills, they breathe through the gills. How do they reproduce? They lay eggs, right? Are they warm-blooded or cold-blooded?
Oh,
Cold-blooded, okay, we've established.
no.
All right, do you have your Matthew
Yes.
verse?
This is,
Matthew 12:40.
as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in a whale's belly, the Son of Man should be 3 days, 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
Okay, see that discrepancy? We have a fish on this side of the room, we have a whale on this side of the room. Again, let's reiterate our basic biology. Tell me about whales, how do they breathe? That's right, they're mammals, so they're warm-blooded.
300 litres of milk for the
Yeah,
baby
it
per
produces
day.
milk, right? And how does it breathe?
Through the whole
It
world.
has to surface, right, to breathe. It gives birth to
Life,
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all good on this. So we have 2 very different versions. I have a solution for you. What's that?
whale shark.
Whale shark. Okay, so why are we allowed to have the name of an animal as a whale shark? A whale is a mammal, a shark is a fish. So why can we put that in, why can we have the liberty to use that terminology of a fish and a whale? And
Whale
say-
shark is called the whale shark because it's as big as a whale.
Right, but it's the
Size.
largest fish. It's still the largest fish, right? So if we have that liberty to call it whatever we want, it doesn't biologically make sense. We have a warm-blooded, cold-blooded, in the name. So, what kind of creature is it? Yes,
It's a shark, but we call it a whale shark because it's so big.
right, because of its size. So again, I'm not even gonna answer the fish and the whale between the Old Testament and the New Testament if we have, exemptions like this. Yes.
My mum says the whale is a great fish.
A great fish. Okay, but a great fish obviously would have to be, yes.
May I add something? Many argue that Jonah can't have been in the stomach of a whale because of the stomach acid. It would have blinded him and bleached his skin or whatever. But I searched the anatomy of a whale, irrespective of, it was not from religious people, just from the scientific point of view. And the whale has 2 stomachs. The first stomach just massages the fluid slightly, and then the second stomach has the strong stomach acid. And Jonah was only in the first stomach.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to
If
leave.
you just search the anatomy of a whale, you'll find that there.
So it's kind of like a preparatory area.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to research that. Thank you. All right. We've finished our category of animals. Again, this is just a hors d'oeuvres, a small sampling. But you would expect that when you have over 40 different authors living at different stages of the Earth's history, we're going to have differences in ways of doing things and seeing things. Even now, when I travel, I'm not surprised it's different cultures we find. We just earlier this year we went to Morocco, and it was a delightful experience. But sitting on the floor eating together the food that was prepared, lovely. a different way of doing things. That's to be expected, right? Okay, so now the new category is who carried Jesus' cross. This is an easy one for us. I'm going to ask this side of the room to read John 19:17. He's the only biblical author who writes this one. If I can get this side of the room to read Luke 23, verse 26. This is the one that Matthew, Mark, and Luke all agree on. But again, it's just a little difference.
The second one, 23, 26.
23, 26, yes. So who carried Jesus' cross? Can you read it loud, please?
And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of the skull, which is called in Hebrew Golgotha.
Okay, so the he in this verse is referred back to who?
Jesus.
Okay, so Jesus carried his cross, according to John. Okay, and as I mentioned before, John stands alone. The consensus of the other typical gospel writers is they say someone else. All right. If this side of the room would be so kind to read Luke 23, 26.
And as they led him away, they laid hold upon one Simon, a Cyrenian, coming out of the country, and on him they laid the cross, that he might bear it after Jesus.
Okay, is that a discrepancy? First of all, is it a contradiction? Can we have both Christ and Simon carrying the cross?
Yes.
Yes.
At different
Okay.
times.
At different times. So are either one of them wrong in saying that? No. It's just John was impressed. John was obsessed with Christ, wasn't he? He was the beloved disciple. So all he's going to see is Christ. The other gospel authors, saw it. Other things that impressed them. There's a lot going on in those moments. They were sleep deprived. They were undergoing a traumatic experience. Little details escaped them. So they're just going to write from their perspective what they saw. Okay. All right. I am going to throw in a curveball here, if you allow me. This one is a deep one. Our final verse for today is found in Isaiah 45, 5 through 7. There is no comparative verse, but Isaiah 45, 5 through 7. And if you go through the Bible, I want to encourage you to look for these little discrepancies and then resolve them, find a way to resolve them. And so many people will find one little contradiction. I want to emphasize the quotes. They'll find one contradiction and they will throw their faith away because of it. But I want you to use these to the opposite effect, that it reinforces your faith. Of course, there are different perspectives. Okay? So this one is a wild card. Isaiah 45, 5 through 7.
Isaiah 45, 5 to 7. I am the Lord, and there is none else. There is no God beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord, and there is none else. 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things.
Thank you. Okay. Do we want to rewind that last part? What it said, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. Oh my word. What do we just read? Okay.
Calamity.
Okay. Evil, calamity, it's nothing good, right?
Yes.
So how do we justify God who finds himself synonymous, who equates himself with love, with light, with good, with all things good? When somebody shows you this verse, I create evil, what are you going to say?
It creates calamity as a result of people's evil doings.
Okay, so okay, that's one perspective. That's a tough one, right?
This is very tough because people see God in the Old Testament as revengeful and good, instantly a murderer of people. Throw the whole Bible away. So the God was that.
Yes.
We know He is not like that.
We know he's not like that.
So it's really hard and to show people that He was like that because they exhausted His grace.
Right.
Well, we have evidence that during the plagues of Egypt, calamity was created on the Egyptians.
It was God sent.
It was God sent.
That's right.
That's how I see it. It's,
For a reason.
For a reason.
Rejecting His love,
Right.
rejecting His grace, His long suffering. He's doing everything possible. They don't see the
They
reason.
did have 10 opportunities, and Pharaoh was given 10 chances to change his mind, right? Okay, Melissa, I want to hear your point of view.
If we go back a what is it, a line, it talks about what does it say? I create light and I create.
I form the light.
I form the light and create darkness.
Okay.
So when you have a light source, you put something in the way, that creates darkness. If the thing is not in the way of the light source, there is no darkness. But if as soon as you put something in the way of the light, you will create a shadow, you create darkness. So in the same way, if you make peace and something's in the way, then the thing in the shadow of the thing in the way, there will be evil there. If you extend the metaphor.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I was thinking the same thing. As I form the light, so in the absence of light, or the farther you are away from light, whether you're on land or deep down in the waters, right, for my scuba divers here. So in the absence of light, it creates darkness. So God creates peace, but in the absence of peace, evil is formed, right? Okay, but I want to make sure that you all go away with the correct idea, because at some point in your Christian experience, you will be asked this. Yes.
There's another point, I will harden Pharaoh's heart, as if God would have done it deliberately.
Right. There are several versions of that. And some verses point out that Pharaoh hardened his own heart, and others say that God hardened his heart. The way I explain that is, you have put out clay and put out wax in front of the sun, right? What's going to happen with the clay? It hardens, all right? What happens with the wax? It melts. So it's the same sun, but has two very different effects. God, why do you think that, that God would ever say, no, Pharaoh is out, he's a castaway, he's not going to be safe? No, God loved him even more because he gave him 10 opportunities to
God
change.
gave Pharaoh, the way I see it, the opportunity. He could choose to harden his heart or not. We've got free will.
That's right.
If you Pharaoh so well, you could say that.
Because was the lesson really just for Pharaoh or for the Egyptians or
For the whole country.
for the whole country? It was also to build the Israelites' faith. I mean, there was a lot of people involved in God's decisions. There's also the surrounding countries. It put the fear of God into the hearts of the neighbors, right? I want to finish my time here, but I want to add to that verse in Isaiah. Please, make a note of it. Read it again when you get home. Do look up time death fermenters as well. But I'm going to add 2 words, and hopefully that will resolve this verse in your minds. Okay, so I'm going to rewind to that problematic phrase. So I make peace and create evil. I'm going to give you those 2 words. 3 words, actually. So I make peace and create the possibility of evil. So we're adding those 3 words. The possibility of evil, right? Because as Brother Ernst said, when he created humans, what do you notice was in the Garden of Eden? There was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? So by giving them the choice, by giving them free will, is he allowed them to choose. It doesn't mean he wanted evil. No, he wanted to know whether they really loved him or not. Our planet is on a battlefield right now, and every day God asks us, all I want to know is which side are you on? Whose side? Right? You know the story. I come from the United States. we had the Civil War. The uniform for the North was navy blue. The uniform for the South was Confederate gray. One brilliant soldier decided, let me wear both colors. Let me wear the navy and the gray. What happened? He got shot by both sides because they recognized him as an imposter. Okay? So Christ is asking every day, which side are you on? Choose. Choose you this day who you will serve, right? So when God creates the humans with a free will, the downside of that is that they can choose not to serve him. So God does not create evil, but he creates the possibility of evil by giving us the free will. He did not create robots. God created human beings with moral values and the ability to choose whether they want to go from right or wrong, okay? Or whether they want to put on both uniforms. They can't, as the stakes are too high in this battle. Anyway, is that clear? Do we have that? The possibility of evil. By creating us with free will, he created the possibility for evil. He hopes we won't choose it, but if we do,
He's just saying the result.
I'm sorry,
He's saying the result.
he saw the result, right?
If you don't want to
Right.
do this is the
It
result.
will be,
Evil is
it
the
will be
result.
evil, right? And that's why I want to end with this, is that's why, God has a hard time understanding our love for sin, because God sees the end results. I mean, have you ever read a book or you've seen a documentary or movie, and once you've seen the ending, whether you like it or not, it's always going to influence your opinion of the whole thing. You can't unsee the conclusion, right? And so same thing with God. He already sees the lake of fire. And he's like, if they know how it's going to end up, why do they do it? He sees the end result. And that's why he wants to separate us. God does not want us to choose evil. He hates it with every fiber of his being. He hates sin, but has an extraordinary love for the sinner. And so I hope that we feel his love today. I hope that this tiny little, my tiny little plate of hors d'oeuvres of biblical contradictions inspires you to go home and study. It's not a contradiction at all. It's actually a beautiful, harmonious, synopsis of 40 different people at 40 different times in this world's history, giving their perspective on the world that they lived in.
When Moses in Egypt, Pharaoh said, and bless me.
Jacob comes and
Says, bless me.
Pharaoh asked him. Yes. He recognized he was in the presence not of the human, but he recognized in the presence of the God through Jacob. Yeah. Yes.
And in the Ellen G. White's writings, there are also some things signed in the Bible that are in apparent contradiction. And on the E.G. White estate, that ends up many of them.
Yes.
If somebody wants to do some research.
I'll give you as a bonus, and this is not even in my notes. As a bonus, I will mention one. I think it's in Desire of Ages. And the thing is we're so separated from an agricultural society. There was once, I think it's with Zacchaeus, that he climbs up into a fig tree, right? But the Bible says it's a sycamore tree. Well, the true sycamore tree is a fig tree. I didn't know that. I was reading it and I was like, when it said he was in a fig tree, I was thinking that little childhood song, and he climbed up into a sycamore tree, right? And so again, it's not a contradiction. If we knew, then we were familiar with our botany.
If you know the German version of that children's song, he climbs into a mulberry tree.
Oh. Okay.
He does. He said, stieg auf einen Maulbeerbaum, denn der Heiland kam daher. He climbs into a mulberry tree.
Well, different. I mean, it's very hard to
I'm sure
translate.
there's German botanists out there. Who would like to explain that one? I do not know.
We don't know what the ancient Israelites 2,000 years ago, how they named their trees compared to our modern language and our modern classification.
It's different times, Linus Pauling, the whole, yeah. Okay, yeah. Anyway, thank you very much. May God bless all of you.
Amen.